Wow.
There it is. Final.
Hey.
Technical difficulties.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on with you?
Oh, just frustrated, man.
Yeah, you and me both. But anyways, it's whatever. It's in the past. We've got Lilith and all these evil spirits up out of a broadcast now, so maybe we can move forward. We got nobody fucking getting in our ways now. But anyways, apologies, number one, for it taking so goddamn long for us to get this up and running. But here we are. We are up and running now. Now, a couple things before we get into our interview. We do have Shadow People coming out on February 1st. It's exactly what y'all voted for. I believe, Alex, you even voted for Shadow People?
Sure did.
All right. Yeah, I was hoping for Black Eyed Children, but it's still my thing. I'm still gonna do Black Eyed Children. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. But anyway, Shadow People hit February 1st. Very, very fun one. I was a little creepy. There's a lot of good stories in there, and a little different. But anyway, who are we with today? This is Alex Dickey. He is with the Dent Schoolhouse. He is motherfucking Pumpkinhead himself, the winner of the first ever Actor of the Year award from Haunted Honeymooners. So I guess we could start there. How the hell does that feel?
Awesome. It was actually kind of funny because so this was my first year as a haunt actor.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to go to the after party thing, and so I show up one day to pick up some stuff I left, and our manager was like, "Hey, there's a certificate up in the office for you," and I was like, "No shit, really?" She's like, "Yeah, you got an actor of the year." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And when I saw you guys, I was like, "Hell yes!" So I was pumped. Yeah, it was my first award, so I thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it.
Okay, very cool, man. We're glad you liked it. And actually, so that first year as a haunt actor, first year involved with working in a haunted attraction at all, or what all have you
Professionally,
done
yes.
before? Okay.
Professionally, yes.
All right. What'd you think?
Man, it was everything that I could have asked for and more. Man, it was a blast.
Awesome. That's cool, man. We love to hear you guys loving to do this. We love to see it, obviously, and it shows. It shows in the people that want to be there and the people that don't. And very, very cool. All right, so anyways, we're gonna jump into a little bit of the rest of this here. We got several different things we're going to talk to you about today. So number one, um, first haunt, first professional. Did you have to go through any auditioning for this, or did you get to watch any other people going through auditioning, or having stories about how that process works?
Sort of, kind of. So at the time, I think Denton was looking for some more actors, so the process wasn't as extensive as I think most years it would be. But I went in and kind of talked to me about what I've done in the past, and with me being a first year, new to the business, I kind of talked about how when I was young, I was like, shit, 9, probably even younger than that. I used to do statue scares in my grandparents' front yard during Halloween. And I would chase these teenage. I remember this one girl. I had this teenage girl I had chasing down the street, man. It was screaming her head off at 8, 9 years old. And I loved it. And I remember it was going back to that. And it was so I kind of reminisced over that a little bit and talked about, okay, what are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with dialogue, statue scare, jump scare, that kind of stuff. And then just did a little bit of dialogue, just right off the top of my head. And that was about it. It wasn't anything too, extensive or anything like that. Surprisingly enough, I was pretty nervous going in there. Just I've never done this acting thing, the hell are they going to have me do here, but yeah, it was pretty chill.
Cool. Very cool. So obviously the night that we were there, you were working the line, you were doing your thing as Pumpkinhead. Was that your role the whole year? And I'm sorry for just don't know if your technical name is Pumpkinhead or not. We've just dubbed you that, so kind of is what it is. But I'm sorry if your character has a completely different name and we're just renaming shit without talking to you about it or nothing. Um,
Uh,
did you play any other characters that year, or were you inside the actual hunt itself, or were you just strictly in the line?
yeah. Actually, I started off my first 2 weeks in the clown room inside, which was awesome. Um, and then they wanted to move the guy who was so Geister's his name is the pumpkin head's name. Geist Corbis. I believe it's German for like ghost pumpkin or something like
Right.
that.
That's it.
But right, so everyone calls him Geister. So Geister, they wanted the guy who was there to go into another spot, and I just happened to fit the costume. And to be honest, I fit the mentality. They coined me there because they were like, okay, you fit the costume, you have the mentality for it. Try it out, and it was rusty. The first week or so, it was trying to get that balance of, what line there is, I guess. Geister was a kind of a feisty guy. You know, kind of an asshole to be blatant. Cocky yet smooth. So it was that kind of fine line of finding where that line was, especially being out in the queue line and having that interaction with people, 4, 5, 6 times before they even get into the house.
Yeah.
You can't make it too awkward, right off the bat. I usually save that for, right when they're about to leave. But yeah, those were really my two main ones. Geister that was the one I really was most of the year. Occasionally a Thursday night when we were like kind of slow, they put me in, random spots in the house because Geister didn't come out on Thursday nights. So, yeah,
It's a shame they put him away Thursday nights. It's no good.
do what?
It's a shame that they would put him away on Thursday nights.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it got to a point where it was just like the queue line wasn't long enough. I mean, there was still a pretty good queue line. But if we had, three of the guys who are normally queue line actors there on a Thursday, we don't need three queue line actors. So they, we'll rotate or something, and we'll get thrown into a pop or a drop window inside the house, or an animatronic out, in slaughter yard or what have you. So, it was pretty cool being
Cool.
able to switch a little bit.
All right. So out of all the switching and stuff, which do you prefer? If you could just have your pick of the litter, what would you be all the time?
Ooh, I like Geister. I really do. I think I can be
I was
myself a little
hoping
bit
that was
more
gonna.
around him. Yeah, the clown one was fun because everyone everyone told me I was an idiot. Um, to be really just honest, there was so the way the clown room, it kind of winds back and forth, and my clown was the roaming clown, so I could walk around. I was one of the few, the other guys were pop scares or statue scares, and I was the only one that was a free mover. Um, and as you wrapped around, there was a 6 foot tall wood fence. And what's more terrifying than a clown climbing over a fence, swinging at you as you're leaving a room?
Sounds
I
good.
can't think of too much. Yeah.
No, no,
So
no.
I would climb this fence and hang on the top of it. My abs are just chilling on top. I'm reaching across, swinging at people, and by the end of the night, I look down. And my arms are black, my stomach's purple, and I'm just like, I can't be doing this. That was really fun doing, because I got a lot of good scares, but yeah, but Geister, man, Geister's a whole new guy.
Yeah. And it's cool. I would imagine when you're in the line and you have a little more time to interact, you can kind of develop that character a little bit more and kind of become more acquainted with him and become more him.
Yeah, it's definitely a character that you really have to become.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there's other places, you act, you got 15, 30 seconds, maybe more, depending on the night, to kind of regroup and be yourself. And I learned very quickly out there, somebody is watching you at all times, whether to not be scared or to just watch you. Somebody in there has their eyes on you. So you really have to take on the character and be Geister. And that was a pretty good, pretty fun experience.
In the little bit of time that we've been really doing this, I've learned to I really value the line actors. Not that the people inside don't do magnificent jobs, but the line actors, man, there's just getting everybody ready for it and having to have that interaction with several different people, several different times. You're setting the mood, man. I don't think the line actors get enough credit sometimes for what they really bring to the haunt. And it shows in different places where they don't have a lot of people out there doing it, or they just got one person out there kind of just talking. We've praised the Schoolhouse many times for their line interaction, and it shows a lot. They really care about that and really have that on point, especially people like you. So moving on, do you have a special little ritual or anything that you do to get yourself pumped up before you get out there and are either jumping fences as a clown or playing Geister?
Um, there wasn't a whole lot. I do recall myself though every night after getting my costume on and the mask and everything on, just standing there in the dressing room, just looking at the mirror, and then just closing my eyes, taking a breath, and then like it just felt like at that moment I opened my eyes, I was Geister, and you can ask anyone at Dent, that knew me, that mask was on me. It doesn't matter if I was up in the dressing room, downstairs, outside, talking to my friends, talking to strangers. I was in that character. I was in that voice, personality, everything. And it was kind of weird because I didn't notice it until like the end of the year, you know. But yeah, I think that was one of the things that just kind of collect myself. And then all the, just a simple, knuckle, bump to all my actors in the carnival area, the Scarecrow and the ticket takers and those guys. So kind of like a nice good luck, let's go get him type of thing.
Nice, nice. All right, so your first year at the Disco House, first year doing anything like this, there's a little bit of a story behind Disco House as far as it being haunted and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Got any stories? Anything that happened or any moments where you think, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. There was a moment. It was the weekend before Halloween, so it was on those busy time. I just got all my stuff on, and there's a back hallway that our actors walk through in order, to get from place to place. And one of the back hallways, it has a restroom at the end of it. I get it used to be where customers would walk because they change pathways year to year sometimes. So it was one of those, and there was a restroom in the back, and then one of the emergency exits went out to where the carnival was, or the festival. Sorry, where I was. And I remember walking back into the bathroom, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm adjusting my mask and stuff, and for whatever reason, there was a washer and a dryer sitting in there next to the toilet. And on top of the washer was a toilet cleaner brush, And I'm just looking, at the mirror, fucking with my shit. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this fucking toilet brush fly off the top of the washer. And I'm like, what the hell? And I looked down and I'm like, yep, I'm out of here. And I grabbed my stuff and I walked out. And I was like, I still don't have any words for it. I was like, I've been in that, like when I walked in the house, like you always see shadows, you always feel like someone's watching you, and that, you get that feeling whether you're walking as a customer or an actor, Um, but to see something physically move like that in such speed, I was that was probably one of my. Oh no, it was the Thursday before Halloween. So luckily it was a Thursday because I think that was one of my worst nights. I was just so thrown off mentally and just like, what? Why am I here? What? Hold up. Okay. Yeah, that one. Other than that, I people tell me of stuff all the time. Them getting grabbed, stuff. Animatronics will move, not on. They'll leave stuff in one spot. 15 minutes later, someplace else in the same room. Weird shit like that.
I would have just kind of liked to see the actor in full costume power walking out of the bathroom as the
Oh,
toilet.
I wish there was a camera in that back hallway. Boy, do I wish there was, because I reminded myself of on a Sunday, those ladies out for a Sunday stroll, power walking. That was me. It's just okay, straightforward. Don't look back, and hope nothing follows me on the way out.
That's awesome. Oh man, I'm so glad that happened. All right. So moving past the haunted toilet brush. So out of some haunted attractions that you've been to before you got into this, I'm assuming that you've always been into stuff like this, and
Mm-hmm.
I've obviously probably been to several haunted attractions. Is there one that sticks out in mind to you as maybe one of your favorites that you've been to just as a customer?
Mm-hmm. I do have to give a shout out to the USS Nightmare here in Cincinnati. They're pretty good. They've got some really cool special effects in there that I walk through and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like that's someone sat down real hard and thought of that one. But I think the one that really sticks out to me the most would be down in Gatlinburg. There's the Haunted Mansion or something like that.
Okay.
It's a pretty good. It's fairly simple, but it's a good one. And I remember it distinctly because that was my first haunted house. When I was like 7 or 8, and I can remember walking up to the front door probably 5 or 6 times and walking away, and just nope, not today. Eventually did. But that was probably the one haunted house I've ever just looked at and was like, yeah, I'll pass. Yeah. Don't know why, but.
So when you went through the USS Nightmare, did you do the rest in peace experience or just the regular admission?
Just the regular admission. Yeah, we took like, I think it was like 20 or 30, probably around 20 of the dent actors. We like to try to hit, as many of the local haunts as we can. So, yeah, I think we just did the normal admission. I don't know what the rest in peace one is.
That was that when we went through the USS Nightmare. We did that one, and there's a room with a bartender, and he's actually Sam. He's going to be he's next one up. He's next Monday.
Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering who Sam the Greatest Bartender was. Makes a lot of sense now. Okay.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. So he'll be he's up next Monday. That's why I thought it was kind of interesting to do the shout out to you. I figured it was coming. The shout out to USS Nightmare, but that was cool you mentioned it too. All right, so getting back into character a little bit, obviously when you're in the line, there's a lot more ad-libbing that goes on. Did you find that particularly challenging? As far as versus being inside, was that a little bit more difficult to pull off? I'm sure there's a lot of people that come out there and just with the sole intention of trying to trip you up or something like that or make you sound dumb.
Yeah, you always get those. I like to call them assholes.
That's what they are.
Yeah, I tell you what, the more that I work there, the more I praise my mother for dealing with a teenage boy, because, dear Lord, they are probably the worst type of customers to come through.
I'm
It
sure too
is,
tough to be there.
oh God, it's whether it's trying to impress the female friends that came with them or look hard for their guy friends. It's just like, I just want to walk away and not deal with them. But, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But inside, it was mainly, I thought it was, I didn't think they were both all that difficult, only because, like I said, Geister was so much of like kind of blending my personality into it. And it was also easy because Geister previously didn't really talk all that much. So I kind of brought that out of him a little bit and brought that cockiness out of him. Yeah, like he was like supposed to be like a proper, like kind of like struts around like he knows like he's hot shit type of deal. But I kind of brought out the sarcastic, a-hole out of him.
It's a nice blend.
Well, yeah, it was fun. And I thought that was pretty easy just because a lot of the time it was just natural. Someone said something, boom, comeback, sarcastic comeback or what have you. But I would probably say, and that got easier with time. Obviously, the more time I was out there, the easier it was. But if I'm basing it off of, the beginning of my time out there, I would say inside's so much a hell of a lot easier, Just being able to pop out on somebody, yell, stay with me or come help me or something, out of a pop window and drop window and then go back in, it's hard, but I think it's, a little bit more natural, I guess, than ab living.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So haunted events, haunted attractions, all this stuff like this. There's a lot of people out there that look at it with just this automatic evil stigma. If you could say one thing to that type of person that just never been a part of it, won't ever be a part of it, but still feels the need to let everybody on planet Earth know exactly how they feel about it, what would you say to that person?
I mean, I'd probably say that, like all things, before you knock something, you should probably try it. But I would say don't try it for the aspect that most people are going for. Most people are going for the excitement, the thrill, the adrenaline, the scare. If you're not into that and you think, that's the breed of evil or what have you, go for the artistic, side of it. Go and watch how the actors perform. Watch. Or look at all the detail. I've always said that Dent I thought was one of the best haunted houses for detail. Every room, every object has a meaning, and is very detailed. So I would say, if you're not into that aspect and you think it's evil, give it a shot, but look at it on the artistic end, on the beautiful aspect, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. When we do our haunted attraction reviews, part of the rating system we have is for the environment and just strictly that artistic feel and what the building itself looked like and presented. And Dent Schoolhouse scored highest this year in that particular category. It was just
Hell yeah.
phenomenal. I mean, the catacombs rooms, I don't want to give too much away of anything that goes on in there, but that doll room that they have set up, it's creepy, and it's like this beautiful creepy, and you get lost in the beauty of that room and kind of
Right.
looking around all the dolls, and then some asshole jumps up out of
Yep.
it. It's just so well done.
That's one of the best things, man. It's just you want to walk through and just admire how much detail Bud and the guys have put into it, and but then the second you take your eye off the path, one of our guys is in your face, and you're like, oh shit, well, I guess I can't look at that anymore. Damn. But yeah, I've always. It's unfortunate but fortunate Dent looks so good, and that Dent is so good as a haunted attraction is because it is so beautiful. But the actors inside, those guys are, they're really good. Working with them inside the house was, and even outside, all those guys, they're so good. It was an honor and a privilege to work with those guys. And it was just, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, yes, that's.
Okay. So are we planning on working a hunt in 2019?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. So since you've taken on this role, have you had any adversity from the public at all, or any family members, or or anything like that kind of gives you kind of a sideways glance, like, man, really, that's what you're into nowadays? Anything like that?
I did at first. Yeah, there's this like weird gothic like idea behind like scare acting, and yeah, like you said, this evil, like, oh, you have, you must be satanic or something, whatever. I think I did at first. People were just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, really, you spend your Friday and Saturday nights in a haunted house, sweating and whatever, getting punched in the face and all that fun shit. Like, but I think over time and like as more of my friends came and took pictures with me and stuff, a lot more people like, it's pretty chill. It's not. Yeah, it's just.
There's no human sacrifices going on.
Right, like, that's not like a tradition after every night we are successful. Like, come on, like, no cats or dogs were harmed in the making of this footage. Like, it's fine. But I would say the toughest thing for me was, probably coming out and being, that boisterous guy. If you don't know me, I'm very quiet. But when you do know me, I am pretty loud and outgoing. So that challenge of trying to be that outgoing and personal with people that I didn't know and never have seen before, I think was the biggest challenge for me, at least right off the bat.
Okay. All right. So there's no doubt that the immersive hunts are on the rise. There's a lot of different ones that have kind of been sprouting out here recently. And not talking about like a McKinney Manor level thing. We talked to Chris about that last time, and that's torture. That's not a haunt, but getting into the hunts that just use touch and put it more of you're walking through your own R-rated horror movie style of venue. Is that something, number one, you've ever experienced yourself?
I have not experienced that personally. I mean, other than like, the touch haunt that Dent does, I did go through that. So, but other than that, I haven't.
Is that something you would go to?
I think so. Like you said, and I completely agree. Like what was the Manor one?
Yeah, the Penny Manor.
Yeah, that's torture. I completely agree with that. You're not gonna waterboard me and say, "Oh, it was fake. It's for fun." Like, no, sorry,
No.
not happening. But no, like, yeah, like almost living your own kind of nightmare. I think in that kind of style, I think I would be all for. Not much really scares me. Other than haunted toilet brushes, that might be my line. Might be the line I draw.
We'll let you get past the haunted toilet brush. We won't hold that against you forever.
Cool.
we got to experience our first one this year, one in Pittsburgh, and it's so different than anything else that we've ever experienced before, and so it got us kind of perked our interests in it, and we've been looking into some different ones now. And I don't know if you've heard of the one called Alone. We were originally, once we hit 2,000 likes with this, I was going to commit to doing something stupid and going out and doing one of these really, really extreme ones. And it seemed kind of like a far-fetched fantasy when we first started doing this that we'd ever see 2000, but now it's kind of closing in on us. A little quicker than we thought, so it looks like my ass is going to have to go to one of these tougher ones. When we were originally talking about Blackout, we kind of put it on the back burner because we're not even sure what's going on with those guys as of right now. And we've had the opportunity to talk to the guys in charge of one Colorado. And this one's a 6.5 hour experience. You do the whole thing by yourself. You don't know where you are or where you're going or anything like that. So that level is something that I'm kind of curious about and want to see. Would you? I mean, I know we talked about immersive. I mean, is that kind of where the boundary is? You know, I at least want to know where I'm going, or would you say, hell yeah, let's fucking jump in the van and go?
I mean, I have a pretty good sense of like reality, so I'm I mean, I would be all for that because I think in the end, I know that, these guys are normal human beings just like me. You're
Yep.
going to get my adrenaline up and then I'm going to freak out for a second and then be fine after that. So
Mhm.
I think I would be okay. Where's that alone at?
Your guess is all that we know is it's in Pennsylvania. The guy that's
Okay.
in charge of it, Gregory Carl, he's in charge of Ranitary Entertainment. We've been talking with him a little bit, and when we get closer to that 2000 mark, we're going to see he has a whole interview process that you have to do beforehand. And we're going to see if we can get him to do the interview live with us so everybody can get a little bit more. He won't talk about it. He won't talk about what's in
Interesting.
there or what you're going to see. And you got to sign a disclaimer that you won't talk about it afterwards. So I don't even know if you're going to do a review on it.
Shit.
Yeah.
You're about to sign your soul away to the devil.
Well, it's
You
probably
about,
not the first time to the last, so
yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about it too much. I ain't got
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
All right. So last question. We'll kind of wrap it up here. And again, this is we talked about this a little bit. This is kind of your moment. Whatever you want to say to the haunt community, anybody that's watching, anybody that's going to watch in the future, about why you are in this industry and why you love this industry so much. It's 100% yours, man. Take it away.
Well, I'd say for those who, are kind of thinking about it or not quite sure, but maybe want to or have sparked interest in joining haunt acting, absolutely give it a shot. It's if you put in the work, you try. Don't if you be lazy, you're gonna get hurt. If you don't take it seriously, you're gonna get hurt. But as long as you're there and you're 100%, there's nothing to worry about. Give it a shot. My friend, a high school friend of mine, was working at Dent, and she was the one that told me they were looking for people. And me and one of my best friends went back and forth, and he was like, "Oh, I might do it," and I was like, "Well, you know what? I've been debating on it for 3 days. I'm gonna do it," and it was a great decision. He decided against it. And he actually texted me today kicking himself in the ass. It's always like the entire haunt season I was telling him, stories of my interactions with customers, whether, I'm getting punched in the face or I'm making people spill hot chocolate on the little kid. Like, he's loving it. And he was just like, I wish I joined, and I met some great people through doing this at Dent. I've met my current girlfriend there. Yeah, it was just, you never know where it will take you, I guess is my thing. So definitely give it a shot and talk to people, ask for help, especially if you're a newbie, if you do decide to join. That was one thing I didn't do a whole lot of, partially because I was trying to form this character into my own kind of being. So I didn't want that outside influence, but stuff that are like clowns, where you don't have, this is your name, this is what your backstory is. Talk to people, what's the best way to get a scare? Where are the best places to hide? That kind of shit. So, yeah, I would say that's really all I got.
Cool. Cool, man. We thank you so much for
I appreciate it.
man.
Anytime.
Hopefully this isn't the last time. I've got a couple ideas in my head about a few things I might like you to be involved
Cool.
with in the future if you're willing. Some pretty cool things down the road. Hopefully, we'll see how all that goes. But again,
Cool.
thank you so much. for talking to us. What?
They want him to growl.
Will you please growl? Very nice. Very nice. Well, that's it. That is Alex Dickey, Actor of the Year. Thank you again so much. Remember, February 1st, Shadow People's coming out. Alex, you better watch it. You voted for the damn
I
thing.
will.
Okay?
I will. I got you.
Too, okay? I did that for you and everyone else that voted.
Much love.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night. Again, thank you.